with humble pranams at the divine holy feet of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, we have the great opportunity once again of welcoming you to Singapore, face to face in Singapore. Welcome, sir.
I'm equally happy to meet you this morning.
I'd like to start at the very beginning, if I may. That is to ask, why did Swami create this universe?
It is what we call Leela, or divine sport. As Bhagavatam says, the entire creation happened as per his will. If you put a question, why a child should play? Why a child plays? Child plays and the whole creation is the play of God. Just a matter of his will that gets manifested in the form of the whole of the creation. And he has created the whole of this cosmos as to love himself. He has separated himself into many so as to love himself.
Could that be seen by the people who are not that perceptive as a very selfish act?
Well, it is, but the old sadhana, the spiritual endeavor, the spiritual pursuit demands to experience that divine love. That's all what all religion is about. That's all spirituality wants you to feel and experience the divine love. That you and God are one. That you got yourself separated because of the creation in between. That oneness with the divine is the prime objective of every spiritual seeker.
So in this divine sport you speak of, sir, we are sparks of the divine. And the whole purpose of journey is to go back to the divine. If you put it in simple terms to those who are not as well-read as you are, sir, how would you explain this to a child?
Well, I would rather explain to a child like this. When the child is away from mother, the child feels insecure. But the child is fully secure when the child is very close to the mother. Simple example. If you shout at a child, the child starts crying. But as the child walks with the mother, holding her hand, come on, you shout at him, he'll give you back. Because he's quite secure at the hands of his mother. Similarly, when a devotee is very close to the deity or any god of his chosen form and name, he will have that spirit of security and safety. That's example. The relationship between mother and the child holds good to explain this principle of proximity.
In an increasingly difficult world, as you said, you listen to the news and so on, everyday catastrophes, cyclones in Myanmar, for example, or Burma, and earthquakes in China, apart from the main tragedies we've had with tsunami and so on, is all this a part of love and divine love?
Well, it is love that is misused or abused, or that which has not been put into practice in the true spirit. Man has exploited nature. God has given this nature as a gift, precious gift to mankind. But man has exploited nature so as to face the reaction. The tsunami, what you are speaking about, is a sort of reaction. The nature retaliates. Nature retorts. Nature gives you back for all the things that you have done to it. So what we have to realize is that we have got to be respectful towards nature and not merely exploit it.
Swami has said many times that not a blade moves without his will. Is all this his will?
That's good. Then we don't complain. When I take it that everything happens as per God's will, I have nothing to complain, nothing to feel proud of. I'll be equanimous. I'll have a balanced state of mind throughout. But though we say that not even a grass blade moves without his will, but I get tossed, vacillated. The mind oscillates between the two extremes. The mind passes through bumps and jumps quite frequently. Why? In principle I know, but by experience I have not realized it. That is the point.
Does man have free will?
Yes, free will. Here are two words, free will. First, let us put a question, is man free? Man is not free. How do you say that? He sees that which he is not supposed to. He listens to that what he should not. So the senses distract his attention. The senses are drawn towards the sensual pleasure. So he has no control over his senses. He has no control over his mind. So such a man who has no control over his body, mind and intellect, how can he have free will?
Who controls him?
Who controls him? He has to realize that he is beyond the body, mind and intellect. That there is supreme self, supreme consciousness beyond all this. BMI complex. BMI, body, mind, intellect complex. There is supreme self, consciousness above. The moment one inquires about that self, everything will be under control. Self-realization, the experience of the self, is the only way to control senses and the mind.
It sounds as if it's easier said than done, sir.
It's true. But yet that's the only way. One day or other, we have to take to that. This life or next life, anytime. It's worth trying. We get scared at it. But when once we make an attempt to experience the self, the supreme state of bliss, naturally we'll run after it. Simple example. This state of bliss is of the experience of every common man. How? You may ask me that way. We go to sleep every night, right? In the deep sleep state, what we call sushupti, deep sleep, the mind is at rest. Senses are at rest. The mind is withdrawn. The intellect is withdrawn. Body is just lying on bed. Next morning, he feels very fresh. If you ask him, had a good sleep last night? Oh yes. He feels highly energetic. Why? In deep sleep, it is only the self that remains. All others are passive. The body, mind, intellect, they are withdrawn, passive, inactive. It is the self that rules, that governs as the witness. Therefore he feels energetic next morning. If that deep sleep state of bliss is experienced in the waking state also, it is what is called samadhi. Samadhi is the experience of the deep sleep state by effort, what we call sadhana.
So samadhi.
Samadhi.
Could you explain that to the audience?
Dhi is intellect. Buddhi, sama, equality, equanimity. The dhi or buddhi that maintains the state of equilibrium or equanimity in both states. Victory and the defeat. Success and the failure. That balanced state, samadhi. That he is not upset. That he doesn't have any kind of pride because of success, nor frustration if he were to face any kind of failure. That is samadhi, treating everybody equally, beyond the status, beyond riches. If he moves about equally with everybody, a pandit and a pedestrian, that is samadhi, equality.
It looks as if it's a very difficult life for human beings, isn't it? Including animals and everybody else. As you perceive it within your own measurements of all the gimmicks and gizmos that are thrown at you through TV, communication, websites and electronics and so on.
Yes. Simple example. These TVs and other journals, the parameters of the society, may deviate my attention, may dissipate my energy, but yet, when I start moving with everybody, love all. When I start serving everybody, serve all. When I establish rapport with everybody, irrespective of the caste, creed and community, I'll have the taste of the divine love. I'll have that joy and the thrill which I would never have otherwise. By moving with everybody, by entertaining a feeling that I'm a common man. Nothing is extraordinary about it, after all. It is only the ego that makes a person feel that is extraordinary. When once the ego is gone, if I say, oh ego, let you go, then I feel that I am very common man. As a commoner, I feel like moving with everybody, thereby derive greatest joy on earth, what we call bliss. It is only this feeling of extraordinariness, something great in me, makes me cut off from the rest of the society and depriving me of the true state of bliss or the joy.
How does that equate with solitude, quietness?
Yes. Solitude or quietness is the state of mind. One may be in the market, but still can experience solitude. One may be alone, but yet his mind is in the market. I'm alone, but yet my mind is in the market, thinking of everybody. But I may be in the market, going around along the busy streets, but I think of the divine. My mind is running after the divine thought. I'm meditative inward while in a market. While at work, I'm still meditative. That is what we call solitude. Solitude doesn't mean running away from the crowds, far from the madding crowds, or aloneness or loneliness. Solitude is a state of withdrawal. It is a state of mind which is rather concentrated, which is focused while in the midst of the company. I think I'm clear.
If you attain that kind of state, would you also then get into little accidents like falling, breaking your bones and so on, as Swami has shown in his human form? Is that what it is?
Well, in fact, when once our mind is focused, a meditative mind is deeply concentrated, highly concentrated. A meditative mind is focused. What do I mean by that? While driving your car with full concentration, it is meditation. Morning jogging is meditation. Eating, drinking, talking, everything is meditation. Meaning, anything that you do, totally, that gets transformed into meditation. So that you'll be more efficient, you'll be more skillful, you'll be more talented, that you are more safe and never given to any kind of accidents because the mind is meditative now.
Swami makes a distinction between concentration and meditation.
Yes.
He said the fisherman is concentrating to get the fish. Would you also say that he's meditating to get the fish?
Well, I would
to
rather...
do it efficiently.
Yes. Now, there are three states here. He goes to that spot where he thinks that he can catch many fish. He doesn't throw his net anywhere. He walks along the riverbed, throws the net at a place where he feels intuitively that he can catch more fish. That is concentration. And as he throws the net, he will be thinking of the fish, only nothing more than that. How many fish can he catch? Which one gets into the net? That is, constant thought of the fish is contemplation. Concentration takes you to the next state of contemplation. Finally, when he is successful in catching fish, as he tries to take out the net out of the river, he jumps in joy. He is lost because he could get what he really wanted to get. He is totally fish only, nothing beyond, nothing less than that. That is meditation. So meditation has these three steps: concentration, contemplation, and meditation.
So at the end of the day, the fisherman also meditates,
Whole process meditation.
of part of which is concentration.
Concentration, taking it to contemplation. And then you know that you are concentrating. You know that you are contemplating. In meditation, you do not exist. You are lost. That I-ness is gone. You don't say, I meditate now. You never say, I meditated, because I-ness is not there. It is totally gone. So in concentration, you are there and the object of concentration is there. In contemplation, you are there and the object of contemplation on which your thought ruminates, ponders over, thinks about that particular object are still there. But in meditation, you are not there. You are one with the main object. That's meditation. Simple example. Sir Isaac Newton, while doing his experiment, he forgot himself. On the day of his marriage, he fails to attend church to get married. The bride comes there, look here, we have to get married, come on. Oh, I see. Then this man goes. Then what does it mean? He has become part of the experiment. He is the test tube. He is the laboratory. He is the observation. He is the inference. He is no more. That is meditation. A scientist meditates. An engineer meditates. A painter meditates. A poet meditates. Why? Even in the ordinary world, a young man falls in love with a girl. Constant thought about the girl. Why? Even in dining, he thinks of her. Even while reading, he thinks of her. That is meditation. Totality of existence. When you are totally in anything, that is what's called meditation.
You mentioned Sir Isaac Newton.
Yes.
Swami has mentioned many times that he went mad at the end.
Yes.
Such a great being who discovered gravity, he thinks he did. What happened to him?
But there are two things here. One is the head, the other is the heart. When the head takes up so much of stress and strain, so much of reasoning, when the head goes on doubting endlessly, based on logic, he ends his career in madness. He turns mad altogether because mind is full of thoughts and counter thoughts. Mind is full of conflicts. As a scientist, he goes on doubting his own theory. He goes on questioning his own observation. Ultimately, he doubts himself. And he loses confidence. And then he turns mad. That's what happens. Therefore, it is very important to maintain balance between head and heart. Head is logic. Heart stands for poetry. Head is full of knowledge, while heart stands for wisdom. The head is the ego-centered. Heart is universal. So if one experiences head and heart simultaneously, in full awareness that the head should go down deep into the heart, value-based, naturally he would be quite samadhi, equanimous, or else he turns mad.
You mentioned another word during this conversation which many people will not understand. That is I-ness.
I-ness.
Could you explain that I-ness?
Yes. This I-ness has two phases. One I-ness with reference to the outer world. Supposing, say, I am Anil Kumar. This I-ness, identity with the name I bear. I am a professor, identity with my job. I am an Indian, identity with the country I belong to. So we get identified with our profession or the country or with our age or status or whatever may be. This is one sort of I-ness. And this gradually makes you feel that you are above somebody, that you are superior, that you are special. That's what you call ego. And then when once this ego still takes you to that state as to dominate others, that is what is called pride. So, I-ness, ego, pride are three levels with reference to the exterior or outer world interacting with the community in society. But in deep sleep, there's no mind, there's no body, there's no intellect, but still there is one that you do not know, where no one can say, I am here. That is Supreme Self. The eternal witness, that is the real I, Aham. And that I, in combination with the senses and the mind, start interacting with the outer world and the community. That is what we call ego. Therefore, I has got two phases. One outer, functional, the other inner, the reality.
So when you let go like this, deep sleep, sushupti, whatever you said earlier, and you have dreams, does ego play a role there?
Good, sir. There are three states: waking state, dreaming state, and the deep sleep state. To explain this, I can give one example. MBA. M for the mind, B for the body, A for Atman, the self or consciousness. MBA, all the three are functional. Mind, body and Atma at the waking state or Jagrata, waking state. The second state is a dreaming state where B is not there. Body is lying. But MA, mind and Atma, mind goes on imagining, hallucinating, dreaming, all sorts of things, projections, unfulfilled desires, unfulfilled tasks of this world, they all appear in our dreams because of the mind. So dreaming state has only two letters, M-A, mind and Atma. MBA, waking state, dreaming state, MA, while the deep sleep state, only A, Atma exists. No mind and no body. That's what it is.
Who gave the mind?
Yes. The mind actually is the one that has something like this. The ocean is here. Because of the wind, the pressure of the wind, you find the waves on the surface of the sea. Am I right? Similarly, the senses of cognition, and the senses of action in relation to the outer world is the cause for the mind. It is something like a software. That is the cause with all the desires, impulses, sentiments, feelings, and they would translate into action later in our daily life situations.
So I repeat the question again. Who gave the mind?
The mind is of one's own making. The mind is of one's own making. Simple example. When I think of God, when I sit in meditation, in deep prayer, where is the mind? When once I open my eyes and start looking at people, mind crops up. So mind is the one of one's own making. And mind can be withdrawn by the very same individual. Rather, the self, senses and the outer world are the cause for this gigantic devil, what we call mind.
Can an ordinary person understand this? Average person.
We can tell an average person, come on, you sing bhajans. What is happening to you? Or you watch how your mind is when you are in trouble. You watch your mind, how it is in the midst of a crowd. What is the state of your mind in bhajans? What is the state of your mind in meditation? What is the state of your mind when you are in a crowd? When you are in office? That difference you'll notice it. In mind, it is peaceful. While in a crowd, it is restless. While in meditation, it is equanimous. While integrating in society, it just tosses like that. Something like the turbulent ocean. That's what it is. One can experience in daily life.
Only word you left out in the explanation is bhajan.
Bhajan, yes.
You mentioned bhajan just now.
Yes.
But you didn't address it in your explanation just now.
Pardon?
You didn't explain bhajan in the
Bhajan, yes. Bhajan meaning, we just sing the glory of God of your own chosen form and name. When once you start singing His glory, what happens? You think of your chosen deity. You start picturizing that Lord who is so dear to you. You think of His smile. You think of His divine personality. You think of what all that you think great. And in the very thought of that chosen form and the song, you are lost. There is no singer now. There is only the song. I can give an example. Picasso, you heard of Picasso, the famous Russian painter. Somebody said, look here, Picasso, what a wonderful painting it is. It is his own painting. Now Picasso looks at that and says, is that so? Is that my painting? Do you think it is good? Oh, it is like that? Oh, he also stares at his own painting like anybody. Meaning he is lost in painting. The painter does not exist. The painting, the picture sustains. The painter is not there. Similarly, when the singer is lost in ecstasy, when anyone says, oh, what a song it is. Oh, is that so? You like it? You are a witness to your own song. That is what is called bhajan. Bhajan is a divine melody. Bhajan is a sort of dialogue between you and your God. Bhajan is divine romance between a devotee and the chosen God.
What are the rules for bhajans these days?
There are rules for every spiritual activity. For example, rituals like yajnas and yagas. Say some festivals, Sankranti, Dasara, Christmas, Ramjan. There are some paraphernalia, some rituals, some procedures. But bhajan is one thing which is beyond all rules, regulations. Nothing you can do anywhere, any time, in any state. No rules, no regulations. While driving your car, you go on singing. Gopika Mala Hari Pyari Mahi Veena Mana Vihari Madana Mohana Muralidhari Krishna Jai. You don't expect huge audience there. Nobody to hear you. But you go on singing. Why? For your own joy. For your own ecstasy. So, bhajan or singing the glory of God is an activity which has no rules and regulations, no reason and no season. That's all.
There are some parameters for bhajans in bhajan centers, aren't there?
Yeah. Yes. In bhajan there are two things. One, I sing for myself, individual. And two, I sing in Sai centers. Supposing you have got hymns in a church. Hymns, they sing hymns there in a church. So when you sing in a big congregation, in a big group, you need some kind of training. Your voice has got to be quite good, melodious, so that others would be able to hear you. There should be clarity, there should be rhythm and the beat, because it is congregation worship. It's group singing. So that, from that point of view, rules are laid. Not for bhajan as it is. Since you are to draw the attention of others, since others have to join you, you need some kind of training. That's all. It is only to make it interesting to others.
Bhajan seems to be quite an activity of contentiousness in some societies here, Sai societies included. The person who's the coordinator takes a very central role, putting the friends to sing first. Good or bad doesn't matter sometimes, and she thinks or he thinks that I have the copyright for this. I've heard this being said. So I just want you to address that aspect of ego coming in by so-called people in charge of certain activities inside some Eastern societies. Bhajan being a very prominent part of it.
Well, as a singer, I may feel that man in charge of bhajans is exercising his authority. As a singer, I may feel so. But if I ask that coordinator, why are you restricting me? Why these rules? That coordinator will tell me, look here, Mr. Anil Kumar, I am in touch with the general public. I know the response of the group. I know the people coming to centers, what they feel about your singing. So my judgment, my decision is based on the feelings of the general public, not that I am against you. So he speaks from that point of view. As a singer, I feel that he is restricting me. So we have to look at it from that angle.
No, the point where I'm coming from is where the bhajan coordinator herself or himself thinks, I've got the best voice. Therefore, I'll sing number 1, I'll sing number 3, I'll sing number 9.
So
all my friends will do it, you see. But
it's an individual decision. We don't need to give any value to that.
Would you condone it?
I don't condone it. I try to inform him, reform him, transform him. I go and tell him, how do you know that yours is the best voice? How do you know that? Is it self-glorification? Is it self-praise? Or aggrandizement? Or pomp? Or show? Or self-estimate? No. We should see the response. And that too in bhajans there is one thing. The kind of feeling that the singer has must be communicated, must be felt by the general audience, not merely by the rhythm and the beat. Some people may not have good voice, but they would be able to raise the consciousness of the entire gathering.
You're touching on bhava now. Could you explain that?
Yes.
In detail.
Well, there are a few types of bhajans. One, simply the name of God. Name, that's all. We go on repeating. Sadguru Naam, Guru Nanak Ram. Sadguru Naam, Guru Nanak Ram. Here it's only singing. Same song, Krishna Jai, Krishna Jai. Rama Kodanda Rama, Rama Kalyana Rama. That's all, name. This is called Nama Sankirtan, only name. The second is Leela Nama Sankirtan. Govardhanadhara Gopal Chitachoda Yashodak Bal Navanita Choda Gopal 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 Govardhanadhara Gopal. Oh Krishna, you could lift that Govardhana mountain. After all, can't you lift my life? Can't you take me to higher level of consciousness? Am I a burden to you? Do I add extra weight to you, my Lord? Govardhanadhara, whatever. This is Leela Nama Sankirtana. And third one, Daya Sagara Karuna Kara. Daya Sagara, the ocean of compassion. They are attributes of God. Bhavanama Sankirtana. Devaki Tanaya Dayanidhe Dayanidhe Kripanidhe. You are Nidhi, the treasure of grace Kripa. You are Nidhi, the treasure of Daya, compassion. This Bhavanama Sankirtana. Nama Sankirtana, then Leela Nama Sankirtana, Bhavanama Sankirtana, and there was Gunanama Sankirtana. We simply praise Him. You know everything, my God. You know everything. You are the sun, you are the moon. You must be knowing that very famous song. Prema Ishwara hai, Ishwara Prema hai, Prema Ishwara hai. just his attributes, what God stands for. That's called Gunanama Sankirtana. So it takes you from one level to another level, one height to another height. Something like a diamond that has so many faces, so many facets of brilliance, of radiance. So also bhajans.
Swami has talked about Bharata, standing for Bhava Raga Tala.
Yes.
Must these three be in consonance for the flower of bhajans?
It's a natural
consciousness.
That's what is called Bharat. Rat, love, Bha, God. Rat, love, Bha, God. Love for God is Bharat. Bharata, Bhava Raga Tala, the country where people sing the glory of God in perfect beat and rhythm. Yes.
Swami has attributed the singing of bhajans to the founder of the Sikh religion, Sadguru Guru Nanak. Now what I'm coming to in the stage of this interview is to get the founders of religions and Swami's thoughts on them, starting, since we are on bhajans, with Guru Nanak.
Yes, yes. Well, it's a kind of expression of gratitude. It was Guru Nanak who started this community singing. It was Guru Nanak who started this mass movement of singing. Nagar Sankirtan was of Guru Nanak. While in Hindu faith, we have got Lord Chaitanya, who is responsible for all this Nagar Sankirtan. So when we include these names, we are very grateful to those pioneers. And then when we think of these names, we receive vibrations from those people. Simple example. When you hear the name of Gandhi, or look at his picture, what kind of feeling you have? When you look at the picture of Subhash Chandra Bose, you'll be full of patriotism, fervor, the courage. Yes. When you look at the picture of Mother Teresa, you'll be full of love, compassion, care, concern, sympathy, and empathy for everybody. So when we mention the name of Chaitanya Guru Nanak, naturally you get vibrations, the matchless names, inspire you for your own benefit. That's why we include those names also in our bhajans.
What does Swami say of Lord Jesus Christ?
Yes. Swami speaks very high of him. Very high of him. Christ, according to Baba, as we have to understand it, the future generations should know fully well that Christ is not merely a person. Christ is not merely a human personality. Christhood, Buddhahood, Krishna consciousness, a state of achievement, a state of accomplishment, a zenith or climax to human endeavor, to human activity, to human pursuit. So Christhood meaning what? Cultivating those noble qualities like sacrifice, like compassion, like love, forgiveness. These are the values that Christ stands for. So Christhood one has to attain. And Christ attained in his own life, just as you have got Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who practiced different religions and ultimately could teach to the whole world the unity of religions, so also Jesus Christ. He began his spiritual sadhana by declaring to the whole world that he is only the messenger of God. I am the messenger of God, meaning I am different from God. I am messenger. That's what we call dualism or Dvaita Bhava. In the next state, Christ meditates. Christ goes to higher levels, altitudes, platitudes, meditates, and later he declares, I am the Son of God. Messenger is different from Son. Son is dearer to me. Son is much nearer to me than a messenger. That is what we call qualified non-dualism or Visishtadvaita. Same Christ on the cross said, I and my Father in heaven are one. I am not different from my Father. So that only speaks of non-dualism or Advaita. So in Christ's life, there are three levels of consciousness, there are three levels of achievement, there are three levels of experience of a spiritual seeker. From Dvaita Vishishtadvaita to the state of Advaita. Speaks of Christhood, Christ as a seeker, Christ as an aspirant, Christ as a role model, forgiving Lord, the Lord of sacrifice, the Lord of love. That's one has to cultivate. And the Christ, the way how he mingled with people. Look here, see, of course, this may be interesting to you. There is one word, Abba, A-B-B-A. Christ says, Abba, addressing his father. Repeat the same word, Abba, Baba, Baba, Baba. That's Baba is. Jerusalem, Jerusalem. Salem is place. Jeru is peace. Jerusalem, a place of peace. Prashanti Nilayam. Therefore, there are so many parallels between Baba and Jesus Christ. Baba always refers to giving and forgiving. So also Jesus Christ. So, when you speak of Jesus Christ, I forget all norms of time because I am a product of a Christian college. And I know what is all about Christianity.
Why did this great Son of God doubt on the cross and say, why hast thou
Forsaken me? Yes. Let us take it this way. That Christ doubted, says the scripture, but it is the experience of every seeker. There is one great devotee from Andhra Pradesh, Bhakta Ramdas. Ramdas, you must have heard him. He went on blaming God towards the end. Blaming God. And then realizes suddenly, no, I am sorry, God. I could not bear this suffering, therefore I blamed you. I could not bear this suffering and the pain, therefore I am complaining. Therefore I am commenting, I am criticizing. Forgive me, Lord, says Ramdas. Similarly, Christ doubting on the cross is a common experience of every seeker, of every devotee at one stage or other. So it rather speaks of a common experience that happens to every devotee at any stage along the spiritual path. Not Christ as an individual. You got the point?
Yeah, you're making the point very well. I'm asking on behalf of an audience that may not even understand this.
Good,
I'm just digging and digging
Oh,
deep.
I'm so happy about it. I want it also. I want it.
Similarly, what did Swami say about Lord Buddha?
Yes. Buddha, same thing. Buddha, name is Gautama. Gautama Buddha, Gautama. Siddhartha. Buddha is the title. Buddha is a title. Buddha is not an individual. Buddhahood. So Siddhartha or Gautama attained the state of Buddha. What is that? Few words about it. It is buddhi or the intellect that discriminates, that discretes, that judges that which is right, that which is wrong. So let me make use of my buddhi, the intellect, discriminate between the right and wrong. Buddham saranam gacchami. I surrender to my buddhi that helps me to decide, that helps me to divide, that helps me to discriminate, that helps me to determine to do that what is good. So having decided what is good, having come to know what is my obligation to the society, having come to an understanding with the help of my buddhi what is correct to be done, then I follow that path. Dharmam saranam gacchami. That dharmam, that righteousness, that righteous conduct, you could know because of this buddhi. First surrender to buddhi. With the help of buddhi, know what is dharma, the course of action to be done, the code of conduct. Where do you practice this code? In society. Sangham saranam gacchami. So with buddhi, know what is dharma and practice this dharma in society, sangham. So three levels. Buddham saranam gacchami, dharmam saranam gacchami, finally sangham saranam gacchami. That is Buddhahood.
Buddha never spoke about God the Creator.
Yes.
Throughout his known dharmic journey. He got away from all that. He said, life is too short to go to the beginning or the end. This is the middle path. I've seen the instrument being strung by a lute player. If it's too loose, you cannot play. If you tighten it, it will break.
Yes.
So I have done both. As a prince, to the fact, and being in the forest, almost dying. So I found the middle path. But he left out the word God altogether. What does this mean?
Well, there are two ways now looking at this. I worship Rama, this is one way. There is another man who says, I love truth, I follow the path of truth. To me, truth is God. He doesn't mention the name of any God. He says, that is a truthful man. That is a man of truth. So one refers to a name, one gets attached to the value. So value and the name are same. I worship Rama, but I don't speak truth. How can I be a devotee? So one's line of approach is value orientation. One line of approach is name and form. So God, with reference to name and form, is one way of approach. But God has energy, cosmic energy. God, who is universal, omniscient, omnipresent, nameless. What name can you give? How do you describe him? Buddha kept quiet. Not that he is reluctant, not that he is indifferent. Actually speaking, you cannot explain God. You cannot describe him. You cannot explain him because the very Upanishad says that words fail to describe him. The mind fails to comprehend him. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. Yato vacho nivartante. The mind returns. Words fail. Aprapya manasasaha. The word fails along with the mind to comprehend him, to know him, to estimate him. Therefore Buddha kept quiet. So his silence, there is sound in silence. It is a wordless word. It is soundless silence. In that state of silence, there is this vibration of Omkar within him, which is not verbal or vocal. That's how I take it. He may not mention the name of God, but he looks at it as cosmic energy, as a universal phenomenon. That's what, that which cannot be said nor understood.
You mentioned 3 Om words: omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent.
Yes.
Could you explain these 3 Om words to a person who cannot conceive what it exactly means?
Well, if one is a follower of Sat Sai Baba, he will come to know Baba telling him everything about his life. Those of certain personal things that his wife doesn't know, Swami starts telling him.
Can you give an example from your own life?
Yes, simple example. Oh, good. Well, once he casually asked me, what were you doing at home? Well, I said, Swami, I'm just having a sip of coffee. He said, no, you're watching TV also. You're watching TV also. Well, that made me know that he knows what I was doing, not simply sipping coffee, that I was watching TV. Some other day he said, what tiffin you had this evening? I simply said, some idli, some vada, like that. He said, no. That's not the preparation today. You had dosa. Why do you bluff like that? So this makes me know that he knows everything. Once he wanted my mother to come to Bangalore, but I don't want her to be there. She's 85, a heart patient. Then Baba said, ask your mother to come. I'm not willing to bring her.
But you mentioned about the bus strike, didn't you?
Then bus strike. Oh, you know that?
Carry on, for the audience.
Oh, then I said, Swami, buses are on strike. How can she come? Baba said, no, strike is withdrawn. manager of Road Transport Corporation is sitting there in this auditorium. 50th line in the corner is seated there. Why do you bluff? Bring her here, he said. Well, that makes me know. And I also feel convinced that I should not repeat such a thing. Once I had been to the market and I was late for bhajans. And I said, Swami, I am sorry, I am late. Then he said, I don't mind if you are late, but why did you tell other lecturers that you are there at the college busy with examination? Why did you tell them like that? You can tell them that you have gone to the market. There's nothing wrong about it. Don't bluff. I know everything what you said. So, he is all-knowing. And he is all-powerful, omnipotent, because I got into the train and I was to leave that night. But somehow what happened was something wrong with me is when I start speaking about Baba, I lose sense of time. I was speaking with one Reddy, the superintendent of the railway station there in Kajipet near Hyderabad. Well, I forgot the time. And the train came and left the platform. Well, I'll have to pay heavy penalty. I may lose the job. I was working in a Christian college. I was praying, Swami, what's all this? Please believe me, subject to verification. The train that crossed the signal post started reversing. First time, Godavari Express, which runs very fast, it started reversing. It stopped there, I got into the train. And when I went to Puttaparthi, Swami said, you don't have sense of time. You would have missed the train altogether. Behave yourself properly. That's what Baba said. So he could make the train come back to the platform. That left already. He is all powerful. He sent me to Japan. Well, I could not. I mean, the Indian airline were running late, delayed. Well, I was to catch Air India. What is to be done? I ran immediately. It was about to leave. I was the last man to get into the flight that night. Swami was telling there in Vrindavan, your principal is shaking. I delayed international flight for about 5 minutes. Now he is safe. See. So he is all powerful, all knowing, all compassionate God. He knows my weaknesses. He knows my pitfalls. But yet he forgives. He forgives. So one learns all these things out of one's own experience.
What about the time when you had your favorite food, buttu or something you call it, given during your birthday? You went to the room and you closed down and you ate it, and he was trying to mention it in public.
Things? How do you know?
Swami.
In South India, in Andhra, there is one special preparation by name Bobbattu. B-O-B-B-A-T-T-U. It is such a sweet which is not made by any other person. No hotel supplies that. It is a homemade stuff. So soft, tender, delicate, sweet. And that sweet would last for 1 week. The whole gullet will be sweet totally. I love it. But that sweet must be soaked and bathed in ghee. Yes. Give a holy dip in ghee and start eating. Oh, it is heavenly experience. And my wife sent me 6 of them for my birthday. Well, I have no time to eat because my room is always full. People ask me, Anil Kumar, please talk to us. What are the latest miracles? What is that's happening? And we have few questions. So what is the time? So that day, on the day of my birthday, I chose Nagar Sankirtan time to eat so that nobody would come to me. I saw people running for darshan. I closed the doors from inside, bolted it, switch off the light. I ate all the 6 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Had some clothes so that nobody would detect or find out. Well, I went and sat there in veranda. Swami, instead of going around the whole circle of devotees, he walked straight to me and said, all the 6 over, iron safe there. Can't you give 1 or 2 to other friends? I know today is your birthday. And then he materialized vibhuti for me. I remember that. Thank you for reminding me.
And what about the time when you went without bathing and he confronted you in?
Oh, you did sufficient homework. Good. Well, I come from a very hot place in Andhra Pradesh, Guntur. But it was the time when Swami wanted me there in Bangalore as the principal of his college. It is a cold place relatively. So I got used to hot water and all that for bathing purpose. I had to go to Prashanti Nilayam for on official duty. I carried with me immersion coil and heater with me. And as a principal, my seat in the first row is guaranteed. And 10 minutes to go for darshan. I have put the heater and my immersion coil there. But the hot water was not ready. What's wrong? There was no power supply. I didn't notice it. So I couldn't have cold water bath. I just sprinkled water, just washed up to this level. Khanda snan, or you can say partial bath. And a new suit and applied spray and sat there. Our good Lord made a round and came towards me, stood in front of me, lifting both of his hands like that. He said, some people come for darshan without taking bath. I felt highly embarrassed. Swami, please move forward. Because there are students there, number of lecturers. I'm afraid that somebody may ask me tomorrow, sir, you had your bath. People may ask me. So I wanted Swami to leave that place. Baba said, hey, can't you have cold water bath? Puttaparthi is a hot place. Why do you need hot water? He said, Swami, Sai Ram. Then Swami moved. Then he called few foreigners for a group interview. I had some time and then I went to my room. Then we had power supply. I had 2 hot water buckets ready, hot water, and had a bath with vengeance, with a retrospective effect, such that half of soap is exhausted. Then a new suit and applied spray and sat there. It was bhajan time. Usually during bhajan, Swami won't come out. He sits there in bhajan hall. But that time he came, walked towards me and said, normal bath is enough, sir. Why abnormal bath? Take normal bath. And then looked at me and said, see, don't worry hereafter. What is this Sai Baba speaking about bath and all that? I know what you are doing in the bathroom and the bedroom. But I shall not speak about those things. Don't be afraid of me. That's what Baba said.
Would you like to recount the story of Colonel Sood?
Oh yes, Colonel Sood. Oh, Colonel Sood. Good, great. Nice to have met you anyway. You are thorough with all my experiences and my literature as well. Good. Colonel Sood was in Bangalore at that time. And I was the principal of the campus. It was the first year of my stay. I didn't know how Baba works. As a principal, one stays in the campus from 10 to 5, that's all. But Baba came there on a Sunday. How do you expect Baba to visit the college on a Sunday? How do you expect me to stay there in the college on a Sunday? Swami came straight and he saw few people working in the garden. Colonel Sood and others, few of his associates from army. He called me, who are they? I said, I don't know, Swami. You don't know? I don't know, Swami. You are the principal of the college. You don't know who they are? Why they are here? What are they doing? He said, Swami, they are working in the garden. I was told that they come here every week and work. Not that you should have first-hand information. You should have known these things. Then I said, Swami, shall I ask them to go? Then he said, you have not asked them to come. How can you ask them to go? You have no authority. Keep quiet, he said. Kept quiet. And Swami left. I did some homework now. I went and asked, sir, what's your name? He said, I'm Colonel Sood. And said, who are others? He said, that man is from Tamil Nadu. That man is from Andhra Pradesh. That man from Gujarat. Introduced me few army people there. So now I know who they are. Evening Swami came again. Before Swami asked, I started speaking. Swami, Colonel Sood is from Punjab. He is from Andhra Pradesh. He is from Gujarat. Oh, is that so? And then he went to close to Sood and he took out his ring like that. And he said, Sood, I gave this ring 10 years ago. It got transformed into diamond ring and he has put it to his finger back. And he said, Sood, your daughter is in second year MBBS, right? I was listening to all this. I felt very highly embarrassed, very highly sensitive, and I was shaking. And then I looked at Swami and said, Swami, this morning you were telling that why I don't know about them. Today, now, when I'm telling about them, you are listening to me as if you don't know anything. Now you talk to Sood and tell him that you gave him ring 10 years ago. When you know these things, why do you ask me, Swami? Baba said, I know everything, but you should know that I know. Therefore, I have put you to this situation. He said, you should know that I know. Therefore, the whole situation is created. That's what Baba said. I'm glad that you brought, you made me recall that sweet reminiscences. Mm-hmm.
You've had a golden journey in your life so far. You started being a Samajist in the time as like an Arya Samaj.
Brahma Samaj.
Brahma Samaj. They don't sort of believe in God, do they?
No, they believe in God,
Then,
but nameless, attributeless, formless.
Yes. Isn't that the final form of God? Formless?
It is.
You came from that and you ascended to Bhagavan Baba's grace. Did you know about Bhagavan Baba at that time?
Well, to be very honest enough, I don't say I have ascended. I started my journey from that point of faith that goes by attributeless, nameless, formless God. Coming to Baba, I practiced Brahma Samaj more sincerely than before. I understood concepts of Brahma Samaj today much better than earlier. I practiced it more sincerely than before. Because Swami speaks of Nirguna, attributeless, Nirakara, formless. Swami speaks, whenever he refers to those points, they go straight into my heart because that's way how I am brought up. The family belongs to Brahma Samaj for 3 generations. So instead of calling it that I have ascended, I would rather say my faith is confirmed, reasserted, and it got deepened, strengthened, which is the ultimate reality as per the Upanishads. Upanishad concept of divinity is totally different. It's only mythology that speaks of name and form. Upanishads don't speak of name and form. Upanishads speak of God as a concept, as energy, nameless, formless, birthless, deathless, no beginning, no end, whatever.
Your mother, your beloved mother who passed away recently at a very ripe age, because I was attending your lecture on that day on a Sunday and we were told that you have gone on business or not having a cold. Then subsequently we found out that your beloved mother had passed away. She was a very unusual lady, wasn't she?
She was, because she was the first lady graduate from Andhra Pradesh. In those days, it was a social taboo. Nobody sent their girls to schools or colleges. In those days, girls got married at the age of 8. Whereas my mother finished her graduation. She is first lady graduate from Andhra Pradesh because Brahmo family, Brahma Samaj believes in women's emancipation, champion of women's cause, social reform, religious efficacy. So she was first lady graduate. Later she did her MA in English from Queen Mary's College, Madras, a gold medalist, and she's first lady district education officer in Andhra Pradesh. I can also be plain telling you that she was the college beauty in those days. College beauty in those days. She studied in Christian college where I studied and served there.
Is that why you're so handsome?
Do you think so? Good, it will be conveyed to my wife.
And then she was conferred a lot of blessings by Bhagavan Baba.
Yes. Swami materialized for her a chain, a beautiful chain, with all precious stones and a pendant. And Swami materialized for her diamond earrings and diamond ring also.
She was not taken by all this, was she?
No. but she's still a staunch Brahmo. And he says, Baba represents an ideal human. He is an ideal human, a personification of human values, the very embodiment of human excellence. That's how he looks at him. And Baba gave her all special treatment. When all were squatting on the ground, he made a chair to be brought there. And he wanted my mother to sit on the chair and introduce her to everybody. She is the mother of Anil Kumar, very strong lady, lady of discipline. She writes poetry, excellent English. He went on praising her, and towards the end my mother said, Swami, I have got one question. Come on, Amma, nothing wrong. And my mother said, Swami, I believe in dualism. I am a devotee, there is God. I pray to him so that he would respond to my prayers. Oh God, I am in difficulty, please help me. So dualism gives me a kind of anchor or a support or someone to lean upon, someone to depend upon. So I love God. A devotee is separate from God. Dualism. Is that so? That's what Baba said. And my mother added, Swami, my son speaks of non-dualism, that the self is supreme God. God and the self are same. Then Baba said, your son only speaks, he has no experience. You are much better than him. Follow your own path. Don't deviate from it at this age, and give me a broad smile. So he gave her all special treatment, and he asked the principal of the campus to take her around the whole of Vrindavan, show her every room and all that.
We have heard about your mother, but never about your father.
Oh yes. My father did his MA in English, MSc Honours in Physics, BEd, Diploma in Library Science, and he retired as Regional Joint Director of Higher Education. He is a poet, an eloquent orator, and scientist. He worked on Raman effect in Andhra University under that great scientist, S. Bhagavantam. And he came under the influence of Mahatma Gandhi while he was in Wardha and believed in basic education. He served for the cause of basic education subsequently. He served as a regional librarian and ended up his career as a director of higher education.
You mentioned the magic name, Dr. Bhagavantam.
Yes, Bhagavantam.
Before that was Professor Kasturi, who was holding the reins as Baba's translator.
Yes.
Very holy place indeed. Then came Professor Bhagavantam.
Yes.
Then comes Professor Anil Kumar.
Oh, no. Later you have that Sudarshan.
Sudarshan, then Professor Anil Kumar.
Yes.
So you are in hallowed ground. How would you describe your predecessors?
Well,
Professor Kasturi, of course, is one of a kind.
oh yes. No parallel, no parallel. Bhagavantam is a phenomenon. He has got very, very big stature, very high profile, very high profile. Such a man translating Swami's discourse has got its own value because people know Bhagavantam is a top scientist. When Bhagavantam is translating, look here, a top scientist believing in God, translating today. So it has got its own value. And then Sudarshan. Sudarshan is a good administrator, a postgraduate in physics, dedicated his life for the cause of Swami in those days. And naturally, Sudarshan symbolizes a typical student of Sai institutions. Well, in respect of Anil Kumar, he is just average commoner, a just normal human being. After all, a simple, humble college lecturer. I had my education in Telugu medium, for your information, till my 12th class. Then I have taken to English medium after getting into the college studies for graduation. Anil Kumar being the translator in the presence of Swami is a miracle. A man who had his studies in Telugu medium, translating his divine discourses into English today for the benefit of the whole of the world is a miracle of Baba. Perhaps my predecessors were competent enough to translate, but this competence in respect of Anil Kumar is conferred. Competence they achieved, here competence conferred upon. So I have nothing to claim. I have nothing to claim. Just to watch. When people say you do a good job, I say, is that so? I'm so happy about it. That's all. So I think I'm no match to my predecessors. No.
Humble as you are, sir. You have sat in darshan line for about 7 years before Bhagavan Baba even noticed you. You talk to the person to your left, talk to the person to your right. How was that experience?
Well, one thing is this. I was feeling very painful because every time I returned home from Parthi, people used to flock around and say, did you get Pada Namaskar? Did you get interview? Did Baba give you ring? Did he give you vibhuti? Well, I used to feel very sorry about it. So what I did in those days was to avoid Sai devotees, at least for 2 weeks after my return from Parthi, every time. I avoided because I had nothing to say. For 7 long years, he never looked at me. Moreover, he used to avoid that row where I was seated also. But I had one thought, Swami. People say you speak so endearingly. Bhagavan, people say that. You bring out all the inner secrets of one's own heart. Swami, don't I deserve your grace? How is that you talk to everybody? I come from a good family. My parents are known for their integrity and honesty. My grandparents are Brahmo missionaries. They sacrifice their lives and comforts for the cause of the divine in the name of Brahmo Samaj. Well, I am tolerably good, if not ideal. Don't I deserve a smile? Don't I deserve a Pada Namaskar, Bhagavan? What is wrong with me? That was my feeling. It is enough if you just talk to me once, Swami. So, but I could not stop going to him. Every festival I used to go and return. No smile, nothing. It happened after 7 years. Now I understand why that long probation of 7 years. Why? Why not to others? Coming from Brahma Samaj, it is very difficult to accept the concept of incarnation. It is impossible to act, to believe, to accept a moving man as God. Impossible. That too having been wedded to Brahma Samaj, its cause and movement mission for 3 generations. For that man to accept Baba as God is not an easy thing. Impossible. So, perhaps Baba made me to introspect. The hard stone of my heart. Melt, crash it. Be as soft as butter, so that I will be able to know the value of incarnation, that I will be able to cherish its value. Had I been spoken to on the very first day, I would not have known the value at all. Had I been granted an interview on the very first day, I would have considered it as just a question of chance, as an incident or an accident. But 7 years longing, 7 years of yearning, 7 years of pain, 7 years of waiting made me know the value, what Swami is. So today, when people say, you are very close to Swami, please believe me, I don't feel proud, not in the least. Because for 7 years I know what it is. What it is. He chose to be silent then. He chooses to be so close to me today. But I am a witness to both. That is a training period. This is a period of experience. One is the corollary to the other. That's how I take it.
As translator of God, you have a very special position because you let us understand what Bhagavan Baba is saying in his discourses, especially for those who don't understand the magnificent poetic language of Telugu. You translate it. There are moments when you're stuck and the students laugh.
Yes.
There are moments he corrects you. When you say education, it's education. What's happening at that time?
Well, I take it this way. Supposing if translation goes on smoothly, uninterrupted. There is every chance of the audience feeling that Swami must have spoken about all these things to Anil Kumar already. Therefore, he is translating without any effort. Easily he is doing it with poise and tempo. So he must have told him already. But now I commit some mistakes now and then. As Swami corrects, the audience will understand that everything is spontaneous, instantaneous, nothing in the background. That way, it helps the audience to know that I am not told what all that he is speaking right now before. That I am translating there instantaneously only. And the second thing, let people know that it is the good luck and fortune of Telugu language in which he speaks. But he knows English. When he says you are wrong, when I say consciousness, he says no. Constant integrated awareness, not consciousness.
What's the difference?
Yes. When I say consciousness, meaning the eternal witness. Constant integrated awareness, meaning the constant awareness of that consciousness. I know that I am a witness. That is only as a concept. But by experience, if I am aware of it, that I am a witness, that is constant integrated awareness. For example, I see a movie. There movie, I see films there. I am different from the film there. I only witness the film. I watch the film. Constantly with the feeling that it is only cinema. That I am only witness to it. Constant integrated awareness. If one is a witness to one's own life situations and happenings as a witness, that's what is called constant integrated awareness.
There are moments, as in Shivaratri discourse, when Bhagavan goes on about the description of Lord Shiva. Mm-hmm. There are some verses which you couldn't translate.
Yes.
What happens during those moments to you?
Well, Swami suddenly speaks of
Chitrambalu and all that
he goes on speaking about he goes on using Sanskrit words. Well, I am not a student of Sanskrit. I have no knowledge of it. Then, even few words I know, Telugu language, 80 to 90% of Telugu language has Sanskrit words. Even if I know those words, I fumble. I don't translate. Why? Because the beauty of it is gone. Translation, after all, is a translation. If I translate Shakespeare into Telugu, people may enjoy it. But how about the original English? Milton, Dante. The original flavor is gone. Kalidas, if it's translated to English, well, the original beauty is gone. So, suppose he goes on singing. Pada padu ma Krishna paluku tene luluka mataladu ma mukunda manasu tiraga pada padu ma Krishna paluku tene luluka. Do you translate and spoil the beauty of it? Am I to murder that nascent glamour, the glitter and the content of that lovely song composed by God Himself? Therefore I fold my hands. Swami, that's enough. I can't translate. Then everybody laughs. Oh, I do enjoy along with others. It's nothing like failure. It is nothing like helplessness. I don't want to spoil the beauty of it. The song is so beautiful, composed in original Telugu language, and translation is no match. It's an apology, it's an excuse. It doesn't reflect all that he meant. So I remain silent with folded hands, and everybody laughed.
I can imagine how much we lose in hearing Saint Tyagaraja in translation.
Part of Tyagaraja?
Yeah.
Yes.
Swami keeps on mentioning
He addresses Rama in singular terms. You come here, come on. Well, how about the beauty? So, Swami, quoting Chagaraja, said, singing there on the dais, oh, I think it doesn't need any translation. The song itself will create certain vibrations in you. Without knowing the meaning, you experience the bliss. We don't have to know the meaning of everything after all. The sound itself has got its own effect. Sound itself. Oh. When you say home, you may not be knowing the meaning. But the very sound has got healing power, curative capacity. It takes you to heights of meditation. So Swami sings, that's enough.
What does Om mean?
A-U-Ma. A-U-Ma. Three A-U-Ma. Creation, sustenance, annihilation. Creation, sustenance, annihilation. That's three aspects of triune Godhead.
Swami says it's like an aircraft taking off, louder sound and going.
Yes.
Can you demonstrate that, please?
There are three things here. When you say meaning, full throat, everything. Oh, breathe out. Close it. So when you do it, what happens is, it amounts to a kind of breathing exercise, the breath control. It also regulates your thought process. It also makes your mind focused on the divine. So the very utterance of Omkar before every mantra is meant to focus your mind, concentration, a kind of breathing exercise. When the breath is controlled, the thought is regulated. Thoughts are under control, under check. So take off towards meditation. That's what it is.
You have had one singular advantage over Professor Kasturi, in that he didn't know Telugu. He was a Malayali gentleman, scholar though, English scholar. You were born into the language. How would you compare yourself with a man who studied the language and eventually translated it?
But people loved his Telugu too. People loved his Telugu. Though it's not total, complete, 100% Telugu, but people liked it. People liked it. Because he could deliver the content. Good. He did it well. Oh yes. Oh yes.
We have been talking about formless God. In 2004, Swami one day declared in a discourse, I happened to be there, when he said that there is no Brahma,
no Brahman,
there is no Shiva, there is no Vishnu. These are all rituals. And eventually, very lately, I read about Shironayaka, who's above all these three. Some of the scholars who were present, the Brahmin scholars, were a bit shocked by this declaration. Right? There's no such thing. Formless. Brahma.
Correct, Brahma concept. Correct.
What happened? Suddenly to shock the audience like that.
What happens is...
As a Buddhist, I believed it, but then...
that may be a shock to many people.
Many lecturers were stunned.
Yes. So the reason is this, sir. Swami takes us through the course of evolution. The fellows don't realize it. All his talks, please refer Sai literature. Earlier, all his talks are full of stories. Later, he was referring to values. And today, non-dualistic approach. Total Advaita. He goes to the extent of saying, you are God, you are God. We have come there, we have gone there, thinking that he is God, only to hear that you are God. We go there thinking that he is God, and he tells you, you are God, Advaita. Therefore, Swami wants us to evolve, to raise our consciousness, to experience the divinity within, that is latent, immanent within us. The latent, immanent divinity within us has to manifest in the form of love. Love is the manifestation of the inner divinity. So that's what he meant. So but people are not evolving. The reason is they're full of desires. They're full of worldly attachment. So they don't attach value to those concepts. Everyone is bothered about his own desire. Oh, when is my son going abroad? When is my daughter going to get married? When I am going to have a cure for my arthritis? That is his image. So he doesn't think of those values, spiritual heights. So Swami tells this time, point blank, that God is nameless and formless. Brahmandamantayu bojalo nundaga bhaksha bhojambu naku petadaguna. When the whole cosmos is within me, when the whole universe is within me, you serve me breakfast and lunch. Do I need breakfast and your lunch when the whole world is within me? The whole greenery, the forests and trees, seas are in me. Why do you want to feed me? Sarva jalamulayandu sancharinchedi naku snanambu cheyimpa alaviyaguna. When I am present in all oceans and rivers, you want to give me bath? Sarva jivulayandu sancharinchedi naku sariyayina perida sajamagune. When I am the indweller in all of the beings, what name you give me? By what name you call me? Koti suryula deepti meti kaligina naku pramida deepambu yavaru patagalaru. When I have got all the effulgence, radiance, light of crores of suns, you hold a candle in front of me. Ajaharadulakaina andanatti narupu kanugona yavaritaramu. Even Creator cannot gaze my divinity, cannot estimate my divinity. You cannot understand it. Intakannanu vereddi irukaparatu sadhu sadgunaganyulau sabhyulara. What more can be said about the divine, says our Lord Bhagavan Sri Satsang Baba. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
It has
it's
been
a
my
rare
pleasure
privilege to have you back. Thank you, Bhagavan Baba.
May Bhagavan bless all of you. I really enjoy talking to you. I am so happy that you bring out all those things. And I am happy that if all our viewers are benefited by this interview. Thank you. Sai Ram.